You see, justice has something to do with not using more than we need, with using resources carefully. Justice has something to do with knowing our actions have impact on others, with grasping the interdependent nature of all that is, of our own very existence, whether we like it or not. In Ezekiel 34, we read, "As for you, my flock, says God, I will judge one sheep and another between rams and goats. Isn't it enough for you to feed on the good pasture that you must trample over the rest of the pasture? Isn't it enough that you have all the clear drinking water, that you must also muddy the rest with your feet? My flock must graze on what you have trampled underfoot and drink what you have muddied. Therefore, thus says God to you, I myself will judge between the fat sheep and the lean sheep. For you shove aside the weak with flank and shoulder. You butt them with your horns until they are scattered in every direction." There can be more than enough. Enough of the good food from the earth, food to eat, to enjoy, to build our bodies. There can be more than enough clear drinking water, clean water to quench our thirst, sustain our living, and keep us healthy. Trampling the earth, muddying the waters, pushing to get more for ourselves, especially when we are pushing out of the way those in the most need, is unethical. Leaving a large ecological footprint is contrary to God's covenant with humanity, with the earth, with all the creatures of the earth. Leaving a large ecological footprint is contrary to our own human covenant with one another, with the earth, with all its creatures, contrary to our covenant with God. As we continue trampling the earth, muddying the waters, we deprive others of their fair share. We put in jeopardy the future of the ones coming behind us, and we even risk our own health and well-being, because since we are so inherently interdependent, whatever damage we do to the earth, to others, will return to us many-fold. Big consequences for unwise choices and behavior. But perhaps even more importantly than all of this is that we lose our place. We lose our way. We live in illusion, believing we are independent, self-made persons. We forget our deep connection to all that is. Without awareness of the interconnectedness of life, we forget who we are, we forget whose we are. For a large part of our identity as real, live, healthy human beings is interdependence, essential to our full humanity. Finding our place in the interconnected, interdependent web of life allows us to live freely, to live fully, enjoying connection to all that is, no longer so alone. In the midst of coming to terms with the interdependent nature of our very existence, God has also given us a very special role in the web of life. Psalm 8 says, "When I behold your heavens, the works of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you set in place, what is humanity that you are mindful of us? What is humankind that you even care for us?" Last Saturday night, in the clear, crisp night air, we walked down to the lake near our campsite, listening to the night sounds and looking up into the night sky. We identified constellations, wondering at what we were seeing, sharing what knowledge we had about what we were seeing. And I was reminded of the many nights I spent out in the backyard where I grew up, when I would look up with wonder and awe at the sky and feel very small in the bigness of creation, and yet somehow feel connected and important, even in my small place. If Psalm 8 reminds us of our smallness in the vast creation, the psalmist also reminds us of our greatness. You have made us barely less than God. You have made us responsible for the works of your hands. God calls us to a unique place in the interdependent web of life, given responsibility of caring for the earth, the skies above them, all that is within them, made a little less than God to care for God's good world. Our earth really is capable of providing everything we need, at least for right now. But this may not always be the case. Humanity has been given the joyful task of connecting with the earth, the skies, land and water, all creatures, all that grows. And our unique role in our connectedness is to be lovers. Lovers and protectors of the world and everything on it and in it and around it. Our unique responsibility as creation unfolds is as huge as the political debates, decisions, and policies impacting the world, as interesting as learning about and protecting endangered species and observing animals at a zoo or nature center, animals injured and being cared for and protected, endangered species being sustained for growth. Our unique responsibility as creation unfolds is as intimate and blessed as playing with the pets who live among us and joyfully watching the wildlife outside our window, as satisfying as growing a garden for harvest or tending a plant on the window ledge. When we find our place as lovers and protectors of creation, we better know who we are, and we know ourselves connected to all that is.